What's up YouTube, Ultimate here, and today we're going to be going over how Nintendo is artificially limiting the supply of the Nintendo Switch and how that could potentially backfire on them. So before we jump into that, we are doing a giveaway. The giveaway is for a Polyworld 23 karat gold plated trading card. All you have to do is like the video, comment, and be subscribed to my channel, and you'll be automatically entered in. We'll be doing this giveaway during the next eBay Mail Day episode. So, Nintendo is artificially limiting the supply of the Nintendo Switch. Obviously, this has been happening, and if you look at the past console generations, they've been doing it for the Nintendo Wii, they did it for the Nintendo Wii U, and they're doing it for the Switch. It's gotten so bad at this point that you're actually having to pre-order accessories for the Nintendo Switch, which I think is absolutely insane. Like, pre-ordering the console and games is pretty annoying. The fact that you have to pre-order the accessories because they can run out of stock is just baffling. Like, why on earth would you want to have to do that? And Nintendo's gotten to this thought process of, well, if we make people pre-order, then we're getting guaranteed sales, we're getting the news, because all the major news outlets are basically covering the Nintendo Switch right now. If there's even a minuscule update right now about the Nintendo Switch, everyone covers it. And that drives a lot of attention towards the Switch, which drives a lot of potential buyers to the Nintendo Switch. A lot of people might have negative thoughts on the Nintendo Switch, but they see the massive hype train for it, and they're like, you know, I might reconsider that. Instead of, if the console was definitely going to be in stock, everywhere's going to have it, a lot of people would be more hesitant to just jump into a $300 purchase. But because of the fact that they limited the supply, everyone's jumping on board, and a lot of people are actually trying to pre-order right now, and they can't because Nintendo has to have their hype train going. So if you look at the Amiibos, right? When the Amiibos came out Generation 1, they were basically stocked pretty scarcely, but not that many people cared about it. They sold out, everyone wanted them. Generation 2 came out, they sold out, everyone wanted them. And Nintendo knew that Generation 3 was going to be the same thing. All the major stores were doing pre-orders for Generation 3 of the Amiibos, or I should say Wave 3, and they still scarcely supplied them. And this is what I'm thinking the Nintendo Switch is going to be like. The Nintendo Switch for the first 2 to 3 months, maybe even 4 months, will be very scarcely supplied at all the major retailers. You're going to have to go in to GameStop. You're going to have to go there during restock days and to be able to get a console. And then, basically, about 5 months in, they'll just start basically flooding the consoles in. They want to basically drive up the hype and keep the hype train going for as long as possible, but they don't want to have the same thing happen with the Nintendo Wii U. So, the Nintendo Wii is arguably one of the best-selling and worst consoles there were. The Nintendo Wii, in my opinion, had no good games. Smash Bros. Brawl was terrible. It was good for Smash Bros. Or Project M, but Project M didn't come out till late in the life cycle, if not past the life cycle of the Nintendo Wii. Either way, the base games of Smash Bros. Brawl wasn't that good, and I can't really think of really that many solid titles for Nintendo Wii, other than Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn, and was it Kirby Return to Dreamland, I think it was? Basically the Kirby game for the Nintendo Wii. Those were the main ones that I played. I really liked. The Nintendo Wii Virtual Store was pretty good, but for the console in general, it wasn't that amazing. But the thing is that it capitalized on the fact that it was backwards compatible with the GameCube, which had this plethora library, which was just absolutely amazing. The GameCube arguably has one of the best Nintendo libraries there are. You had Double Dash, the Metroid Prime games. You just literally had anything and everything you ever wanted to play. It was amazing. And then with the Nintendo Wii, you had Virtual Store. Now let's go and look at the Nintendo Wii U. Now, Nintendo Wii U is very similar to the Nintendo Switch right now. One, the release titles were kind of the same, except for instead of getting Breath of the Wild or a Zelda game on launch, they got a Mario game. But the Mario game I'd really kind of consider a B-tier game instead of an AAA game. But let's just look at the Nintendo Wii U. Nintendo Wii U came up for pre-order, sold out within 2 hours. Everyone was hyped about it. They were saying that it was going to be the next Nintendo Wii. The problem with the Nintendo Wii U was it wasn't backwards compatible with GameCube. It was backwards compatible with the Nintendo Wii, obviously. And the Nintendo Wii didn't have any really good games. There wasn't any games that everyone was jumping for joy of. I guess one of the games I forgot to go over is Super Mario Galaxy, which was a very solid title for the Nintendo Wii. But that's it. You had Galaxy 1 and 2. And it was okay. And everyone already played that. So there wasn't really that much backwards compatibility stuff for the Nintendo Wii U to make it where it's oh my gosh, backwards compatibility. Yeah, I'm so hyped for that. It's okay, I've already played majority of these games. Nintendo Wii's very, very basic to find. That's not that big of an issue. So let's look at the Nintendo Wii U's library. Okay? On launch, there was like 20 games or something along those lines, but there was only actually really 2 games. There was Super Mario Bros. Super Mario Bros. Wii U, and there was Wii Zombies U. Or Zombie U, or whatever the hell it is. Either way, it was a zombie game for Nintendo Wii U. I have it, and it's actually a pretty good one. Those are the 2 games that were released for the Nintendo Wii U that were semi-decent. The rest of the games were filler games. No one cares about filler games. I had a dude try to correct me on one of my videos saying, Nintendo Wii U launched with 28 titles. And I have to say to him, well, if 26 of those titles are absolute crap, then it only really launched with 2 solid titles. No one really cares about family fun night games. I'm very sorry. But anyways, Nintendo Wii U, absolute trash launch. It had very good press. Everyone liked it. Everyone was hyped about it. But once the console actually launched, everyone was like, there's no games for this. Sure, you had the Wii U Virtual Store, but that's the same thing as the Nintendo Wii Virtual Store. Nothing's really been added that's that amazing. It's semi-decent. Maybe if the Nintendo Wii U Virtual Store had GameCube games, then that would be different. But it didn't. It just had the exact same library. So it was like, it was up in the air. So Nintendo Wii U launched with Mario Bros. Wii U and Zombies U, and then it didn't have any launch titles for the longest time. So what happened to the console? It died. It just up and died. So I ended up getting my Nintendo Wii U 4 months after release for $150. It was a black deluxe version. I still have the box to this day, and it was like in gem mint condition. Okay, so Pikmin 3 comes out for the Nintendo Wii U. And I go pick that up, look at the console price, and the console's going for $190 for the Nintendo Wii U. I was like, pretty good, so I figured as much. It was just because there was no games on this damn console. And then when Mario Kart 8 came out, console went up to $230, $240. When Smash Bros. Wii U came out, console was $270, and everyone was loving Smash Bros. Wii U. The reason why the Nintendo Wii U failed was not because of the console sucking or being behind on specs. It was because the library was absolute trash. When a console releases without a library, there's no real point for the console to even exist. So, how does this all tie in to the Nintendo Switch, you might ask? Well, let's look at the current library from the Nintendo Switch. We have Zelda Breath of the Wild, Super Bomberman R, Binding of Isaac, 1-2 Switch, Just Dance 2017, Human Resource Machine, I Am Setsuna, Little Inferno, Skylanders Imaginators, and World of Goo. That is the launch library for the Nintendo Switch. Pretty much 2 of those games are actually decent. All the rest of them are crap. Bindings of Isaac, I'm not even going to consider a game because that's just a PC port. I'm sure the game will be very good on the Nintendo Switch. I'm just saying that is a PC port that shouldn't even be considered a launch title because it's been out for the longest time. So it might have some DLC to it, but unless it's actually a brand new Bindings of Isaac game, which I don't think it is, I'm just going to say that that's not really a launch title. So Breath of the Wild is basically what's carrying this system. If Breath of the Wild cannot deliver, then the Nintendo Switch is going to become the new Nintendo Wii U. And it's really hard for the Nintendo Switch to deliver when the hype is literally to the sky right now. The hype train has gone up and beyond what can actually happen. Like, when you look at major game companies and they hype stuff up too much and too much and too much, once that basically comes out and everyone realizes that it's not what they expected, it gets a lot of negative reviews. I've heard by so many people are speculating that the Nintendo Switch is going to have the same specs as the PS4 and the Xbox One. And I have to wholeheartedly disagree, because if you actually look at the Nintendo Switch, it's a portable game console. I don't see how Nintendo was able to take everything from the PS4 and everything from the Xbox One and combine that with an LCD screen with a battery pack and have that carryable around. I don't see that. I believe that's going to be lower specs than the PS4 and the Xbox One. And just that alone is going to drive a lot of people to not buy the console. So what do? They keep quiet about it. It's like 20 days till release of the Nintendo Switch. Pre-orders have been sold out since like the 3rd day of it being up for pre-order. Actually, the 2nd day. And we don't know anything about the specs of the console. There's like 20 days till release. We know nothing about the console right now. Nothing. Other than the fact that it has a gamepad, that is portable. We know about the games, we know how the cart's going, we know about the controller, but we don't know what's actually inside the console other than an Nvidia GPU, which is very, 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 very important to know. Like, as far as specs goes, a lot of people are going to be disappointed when that gets released. I'm believing it's going to be probably like, let's just say 80% of what the PS4 can do and the Xbox One. And a lot of people are going to be like, oh my gosh, that's terrible. It's not really terrible because if you think about it, it doesn't really matter that much. A lot of the games for the Nintendo Switch are going to be the same thing as the games on the Xbox One and PS4. The specs really don't matter that much, especially on consoles. You're not going to be jumping on these like amazing like 1080p 60 or 120 frames. You're going to have like the standard 1080p 60 frames for every single game. I don't think any 9th or 10th generation console is going to be pushing 120 frames. I might be wrong. They might already be doing that, but I'm fairly certain they're not going to be doing that for a while now. So yeah, I'm not really seeing that Nintendo Switch is going to live up to the hype. I really want Breath of the Wild to do amazing, but if that fails, it's going to be terrible because you have to just look at the future. What is the future for the Nintendo Switch right now? Next month, or I should say April, you get Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which essentially is just Mario Kart 8 with all the DLC, and that's considered a release game. Why is that not a launch title? Why do you have to wait a month to get a DLC, to get a remake with a DLC stuff? That's stupid. They could slap that together in like 2 seconds. Why not have that on release? That way you can actually power up basically the release games or the launch titles, because that would at least give you 3 options instead of frickin' 2. And the second option, or I should say Super Bomberman R, might just be a really crappy Bomberman game. I really hope not, because I'm pretty hyped for that, because I was like, holy crap, they're bringing that back. But you never know. And what's after Mario Kart 8? Mario Odyssey in like 9 months? That's not that amazing. That's actually quite crap. You have to wait 9 months to get one. Probably, like, Mario Odyssey looks badass. Like, don't get me wrong. But 9 months is a very, very long time to wait for, like, the next game that's going to be good. Unless they decide on releasing another Mario game between that, you're relying on third-party developers to fill in the gaps. That's generally not a good business strategy. The only way I can see them basically succeeding with this business strategy is if they pull out one of their amazing wild cards, which would be re-releasing Super Smash Bros. Melee for the Nintendo Switch and having it with online play. This game alone would save the console if they made this a Switch game with online. Just re-release this for like $25, $29. Everyone would love it. Everyone would love this damn game online. It'd be universally loved. As long as they made sure the online play wasn't shit, everyone would like it. But I don't see Nintendo being that smart. They're generally making terrible business strategies with pretty much everything and anything. And if you actually still look at it right now, the SNES, or oh my gosh, I always want to say SNES, but the NES Mini is still sold out. It's 3 months since the release of that thing. That is not supposed to be a super limited edition console. That was just a special edition. So they're continuing to produce it. They're continuing to make it, but they're still drizzling it out when they know that there's a big enough demand that people are buying it for $250 on eBay. They can literally just press a damn button and print out hundreds of thousands of those systems and ship them everywhere. But they don't, because they know that they can basically manipulate the supply, increase the demand, get everyone hyped up for it, and then that alone will basically benefit in sales for the Nintendo Switch. Just like how Pokemon Go was not owned, or I shouldn't say owned by Nintendo. They had basically some copyright deal, but anyways, Nintendo wasn't benefiting that much from Pokemon Go. But what happened because of Pokemon Go getting so popular, all the Pokemon games ended up going up in price. All the Pokemon games for the Nintendo 3DS went up in sales. And that was because of Pokemon Go. Not because of Pokemon Sun and Moon being that amazing of games. It was because the hype generated from Pokemon Go translated into sales. So they're looking at it in the same perspective, which in all honesty, is good business. But there is a limit. There is like, okay, well, it's been out for about like 2 months now. Just flood. Everyone's going to buy them anyways. And the people that are actually really dedicated at this point to getting one either has one or they're going to start wanting to not like end up getting one because they're annoyed about basically waiting. So that's what I personally think about the Nintendo Switch. I think that the hype at this point right now, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to like not like the console. You're going to obviously have people that bullshit and say, oh my gosh, it's the second coming of Christ. But a lot of people are going to be like, well, I got it. It's cool and all, but it's not exactly what I was expecting. It was not this amazing powerhouse console that I could take on the go. And we don't even know really how the third-party developers are going to react to this. They gave us this giant list of third-party developers that were like, oh my gosh, they're amazing. And I'm like looking at this, I'm like, oh, Activision's on that list. You mean they've been making a Call of Duty for Nintendo Wii? They've been making it for Wii U? Who the hell cares if Activision's on the list? They've been making consoles already. Are making games for the console already. It's not that amazing. But that's just my opinion. So, remember guys, we are doing a giveaway. Giveaway is for a Polyworld 23 karat gold plated trading card. All you have to do is like the video, comment, rate, and subscribe. I said rate. I don't know why I still say that. And you'll be automatically entered in. We'll be doing the giveaway during the next eBay mail day. And peace. Have a good day, guys.